Hello, Internet. I'm Evan Dashevsky, features editor with PCMag.com. Welcome to the Convo. Okay, my guest today has done just about everything. He's a NASA astronaut with 5 missions under his belt. He's climbed to the top of Mount Everest. He's explored the Antarctic as part of the National Science Foundation's U.S. Antarctic program. He was a top 10 competitor in the 1988 Olympic luge team trials. He is the inventor and co-founder of Blue Marble Exploration, among other stuff, which we'll get to. And he is the author of the new memoir, The Sky Below, which is available on Little A Publishing. You can buy it on Amazon or at your local bookstore. It actually has a cool Kindle version with like some animations and stuff.
Kindle in Motion. Right.
Kindle in Motion, yeah. It's cool. Check that out. Scott Parazynski, welcome to the Convo.
Thanks. Great to be with you guys.
Okay, so for those of you at home, the show is called The Convo, not The Dialogue. If you have any questions for Scott, leave them in the comments, and Social Pete will read them off throughout the show. Now, if you're listening to this after the fact or listening to the podcast and you still have a question for Scott, as always, too bad. Okay, so you've been to space 5 times.
Yes, sir.
You love space.
I would go back in a heartbeat if I could.
Okay.
Yep.
No. Here's the thing: is that we've had some other astronauts on the show, and I've talked to people who've been up there. There are things that there's the grandeur and all that, but also being in the weightless environment for a long time, a lot of bad stuff too. Let's go into some of the bad stuff.
You want to start with the bad stuff? Okay, we're gonna get. We'll talk with the good stuff later.
I heard it because your body expands. It's painful. Your face expands. I hear just like all the snot and all the stuff inside your body just comes out all your orifices.
That's a little extreme, but
okay,
no. I would say that it's just a real joy being in space. Sorry to deflate that. Well, so the ascent, the launch itself, you feel about 3 times your normal body weight squeezing you back in your seat. So you feel like a sumo wrestler's sitting on your chest. But once you get up into weightlessness, main engine cutoff of the shuttle, you start to float out of your seat, and you can see the curvature of the Earth in front of you. Man, it is so powerful. Sure. There are some inconveniences, I would say. Yeah. So, as you're talking about, there is a fluid shift that occurs. Here in Earth's one gravity, we have blood and interstitial fluid pooling in our lower bodies. Yeah. That's why you might have kind of swollen feet at the end of the day. Well, up in space, all that comes into the central circulation, and you get a really puffy face, and a full nose, maybe a mild headache. Yeah. It lasts a couple of days. Some people have a mild bout of motion sickness. Yeah. Because like being in space. On an ocean liner, or maybe getting car sick or air sick. There's a change in the inner ear that can make you a little queasy. The biggest challenge, though, is probably coming back to Earth when you finally have to carry your body weight again. Gravity really sucks. Right. And so after a couple of weeks, even in space, it really is hard work. Right.
Now you're actually that actually wants to lead me to something. You are a medical doctor.
Yes.
And like I said, he's done a lot of stuff. And you have specialized in space physiology. Which is a thing. Okay. Now I don't know. What do you think are humans long-term, humans who want to do space for a long time, either in a weightless environment in space or, say, go to someplace like Mars? What are going to be the challenges of that, and things are overcomable?
I think most things are overcomable. Yeah. I think it's the ultimate human destiny to send explorers to Mars, and so I firmly believe it's going to happen within our lifetime. And I talk about this a lot, but I think the very first Martians have been born among us. They're walking the planet. They're probably in school someplace, working hard. And one day they're going to take us there to Mars. But the big challenges actually are radiation. In deep space, we don't have the Earth's magnetic fields to protect us from galactic cosmic radiation and coronal mass ejections, radiation from the sun. So that's a real concern. And then, of course, just the prolonged weightlessness. Can we live multi-generational in weightlessness? I'm not so sure. Can we have babies in space? Would we human beings evolve in the same way? Would we even in the future have skeletons if we had a community up in space forever? So there's some really fundamental.
Would we have skeletons?
I don't know.
We would lose our skeletons.
Potentially.
Okay.
That's such a crazy thing to think about. But we have skeletons here on Earth to resist gravity, and so without it for a long period of time, many generations. we would probably evolve in some crazy ways.
Well, let's talk about Mars. Okay, so Elon Musk has this plan. He says in 40 years, we're going to start building that Martian space colony.
100 people at a time.
100 people at a time.
Yeah.
We had Bill Nye on a few weeks ago, and he says, I don't think Elon's thought this through because it's so hard to be on Mars. Now, you're actually someone who's been to the Antarctic. You've been to a lot of crazy places, extreme environments. I don't know. Do you think Mars is possible for humans to set up a civilization there?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Now, it's going to take
Bill
a lot.
Nye, you're wrong.
Well, I don't want to contradict the good man, but I do think that anything that we humans set our minds to, we can innovate and solve. And so that's, in my mind, a very solvable problem. What we would have to do is probably a little bit dissimilar to what you might imagine. You see artist renditions of Mars colonies, and there are these modules on the surface. Actually, they'd probably be buried for radiation protection, but we can do hydroponic plant growth. We can extract water from the soil. There's lots and lots of water on Mars.
Right.
We can then generate oxygen to breathe. We can do a lot there, but it's going to take infrastructure and time, and by the way, send money.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you think about the rise of the private space industry? Do you think that's a key thing that's going to kind of get this all going when there's profit to be made up there?
I think it's a huge catalyst. We live in such an exciting time when there are these companies like SpaceX, Blue Origin, Virgin Galactic, Bigelow Aerospace that are, really making huge investments. And you're making these sustainable businesses. So, I think NASA's role will continue to be to push the boundaries, to take the higher risk types of ventures, but to have SpaceX and Blue Origin open up low Earth orbit for all of us. And this is my personal science fiction kind of goal for us, but I really believe that in that 40 or 50 years from now, all of the planet will become astronauts. We'll board a space plane here at JFK, and we'll be at Narita, Tokyo in 70 minutes. So that sounds like it's a far-out idea, but I think it's going to happen. Okay.
Now let's talk just about some of your extracurriculars, because you've done just a lot of cool stuff. Okay, in your Twitter profile bio, you consider yourself a #Vulcanaut. What is that?
Well, I had this amazing expedition with a buddy of mine and a team called Quake, Sam Kosman and the Quake team, to Nicaragua, and there's a volcano there called Masai, and it's the youngest lava lake in the world. It's this dynamic, phenomenal place. You're looking at molten rock, and we were able to set the very first boot prints there right adjacent to this lava lake and set up a sensor network that will collect data that we hope will help us understand the dynamics of this incredible environment, but ultimately using GE's Predix platform, big data analytics, help us develop predictive models of eruptive activity.
Did you work with Colin Paris on that?
I don't know if Colin was involved.
Okay, yeah, we've had him on the show.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
But a lot of brilliant people working on this. And so by studying our planet in novel ways and using these incredible analytical tools, we can hopefully save a lot of lives.
Okay. Yeah. Now let's just also talk about some of the other stuff. Now we did mention the Blue Marble exploration. What is the goal of that company that you've founded?
Well, so we're hoping to really expand our knowledge of our oceans. So that, we've done incredible expeditions around our solar system, but we really know a whole lot more about, say, the surface of Venus than we do our own ocean floors. Right. And so what's even more exciting, I think, is understanding what's happening in the water column above. And so Blue Marble exploration has a number of undersea expeditions that we're hoping to conduct that will not only conduct cutting-edge science, but also create immersive imagery for VR and documentary content. So,
have you been to the bottom of the ocean?
That's on my bucket list.
That's on your bucket list.
That's on my bucket list. Yeah.
You and James Cameron gonna?
Well, I have much respect for James. That was an incredible expedition that he did.
Okay, and then let's also talk about the other company that you mentioned,
Fluidity Technology.
Yeah. What do you guys do?
Yeah. So I founded a company that's centered around some of my IP. It's basically a single-handed hand controller that allows us to move with incredible precision, with limited training, through any physical or virtual world, just with a single hand. And the reason that's important is because a lot of the methods in which we move through space, whether it's a drone or a surgical robot, involve two hands. They're very clunky, very complex systems, and we've really found a novel way to really do this in a dramatically intuitive way, and reduce the cognitive workload for either the pilot or the surgeon or the gamer. And so we think that this is really going to change a number of industries.
They go based out of Houston?
Based out of Houston.
Okay.
We have a technology, an input device, but then we're also leveraging machine learning to make it a smart device.
Okay, well, please send us a version of it. We'd love to.
I'd love to bring it back.
We love all the toys here.
Yeah.
Okay. Now we are running low on time, so we're doing a bit of a shorter version. So we do the same 10 questions that we ask all the guests. You don't get to escape that. Okay, it's a bit of lightning round.
Okay.
So Windows or Mac?
Mac.
Mac. Okay. Android or iOS?
iOS.
Okay. Have you recently come across a piece of technology that made you think, "Wow, I'm really living in the future"?
Yes. I really am fascinated by these human-rated multi-copter drones.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I always wanted a jetpack when I was a kid.
Okay.
And we're going to have them soon.
Yeah, the ones that like a human can actually go in and fly as a thing. Okay.
Right.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Actually, Facebook, you do have a question. What do you got?
Do you think NASA would ever be completely privatized?
I don't think NASA will ever be completely privatized. I think there'll be government industry partnerships that will continue to evolve. You know, the way SpaceX and Blue Origin are working so successfully now. But I think NASA and the government needs to continue to make these high-risk investments in big, distant goals, and then let's get commercial industry to, bring scale to the things that we've already mastered, like low Earth orbit.
And then back to the questions we have. When you're waiting in line at the store, what's the first app you open on your phone to pass the time?
Oh, interesting question.
Yeah.
Usually my Gmail.
Gmail?
Yeah,
Okay.
pretty boring. Sorry.
Yeah. No, that's a good one. Okay. I don't know if if you don't have a strong opinion on this next one, that's fine. Ed Snowden, traitor or hero?
Oh, I've heard him speak a couple of times on video conferences, and so he's a very brave person, and so I admire his bravery and integrity for standing up for what he believes. But first and foremost, I'm proud to be an American, and so by compromising our interests in that way, I struggle.
Right. No, I mean most people who we ask that question to, they mitigate in the middle somewhere. Lean yes or lean no.
Yeah.
Very few people have like a clear answer. Of yes, one way or the other.
I hate to waffle, but
no, this is the question to waffle. And it's the one I waffle. That's why I find it interesting because I waffle myself and I kind of see both sides of it.
Yeah.
Next question: will the singularity occur in 2054?
No.
No. Why? Now that was a very quick no. Yeah.
Well, I think predictive models are tough to say, so I'm betting on error bars being larger, but I think it will happen.
Yeah. But just not in the Kurzweil time scale.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. Is there intelligent life out there in the universe?
Absolutely. No doubt about it.
This is the man with inside information too.
No, I don't know any little green men. But I do believe, based on all the exoplanets that we're discovering, and just the fact that even in our own solar system, Mars, Enceladus, Europa, Titan, these are these ice-encrusted moons that have water and liquid and geothermal energy underneath. Conditions for life exist in many places, and so by running the law of averages, there's got to be.
Okay, not one of the questions, but if Mars is going to be the next place humans go, what's two?
Well, I actually hope the moon is first.
You think
Mars?
You want us to go to the moon first?
I think it makes a lot of sense.
What's there?
Well, there's a lot that we still have yet to discover. We had 6 crews go there, very brief periods of time. I think we ought to colonize it. We ought to have like a South Pole station we have in Antarctica on the moon, develop the infrastructure, the technologies, do really good science there, and then take that to the moon. And then, on Mars, I'm sorry.
And just because I don't get a lot of time to talk to people who explore all over the globe. Okay, so you've been to Antarctica. Do you think with global warming we'll be able to colonize Antarctica or perhaps more parts of the Arctic? Not necessarily a good thing, but do you feel it opens up?
I hope it doesn't come to that. But having been to Antarctica, it's very clear that there's glacial recession. There are places that had been for decades covered in ice flows that are now barren rock. So I really worry about what's happening to our planet for sure.
Okay, to bring it into a hard turn, is Bigfoot out there?
right there with Loch Ness Monster.
Sure,
they're hanging out together.
We got mostly no's on that. There's been a few people who are like, it's a big world out there.
Who knows?
What is your go-to drink at the bar?
Well, usually I like a Hefeweizen, a German wheat beer.
Sure.
Yep.
Okay, we're in the golden age of television. What are you watching these days?
I love Netflix. So things like House of Cards. I love The Americans.
Great show.
Oh, great show.
Yeah.
I like things with suspense and intrigue. Those kinds of shows. Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so the new book is out now. It's called The Sky Below. You can get it most places, but it is on Amazon. They have the cool, what do they call it? The
Kindle in Motion.
Kindle in Motion. I've taken a look at it. It is cool. It's and it's cheaper too than the hard copy version. So check those out. What else do we want to? What else do we want to plug?
Well, the only other thing I would say is that the enhanced ebook, it's the first of its kind as a memoir. So it has immersive video, imagery, schematics. So I mean, it's a really powerful new way to read.
Yeah.
And I personally think that for certain types of books like memoirs, this is going to be the way that we're going to enjoy books in the future.
Yeah.
You're looking at a spacewalk, and then you can actually see the video of the spacewalk being done, or what are those final steps like up to the summit of Mount Everest. You can actually see it.
Yeah, want to name a page? Maybe we could show it real quick.
You may have to toggle to the other function of.
No, we're on the.
There. Okay, yeah. So, let's find.
This is good video here. I like it. Yeah.
Well, so these are just kind of. Find some. These are my formative years.
Yeah,
so can you, let's see. Well, we'll just show a picture here. So this is.
So it's like magazine style. So it's like
Yeah, and then you can.
But there are animations.
You can
and stuff.
double click some of the pictures.
Yeah.
That's not one of them. Making a liar out of myself.
I can be a witness. I've seen it. Yeah.
But here's a spacewalk training photo and. Yeah, so you can actually not only conjure up the image in your mind, but then actually see it in imagery or video.
Okay, very cool.
Schematics.
And then the two companies that you want to maybe give a shout out to.
So please check out Fluidity.tech, our tech company, and Blue Marble Exploration.
Very cool. Hey, this has been amazing. For those of you at home, if you like this, give us a like, give us a share. We really appreciate those. Check out some of our past interviews. We've done a lot of these. Convo is an audio podcast available wherever audio podcasts are sold. So go check those out and also give them a review because we appreciate those. That actually helps out a lot. Thanks to everyone. Thanks to Social Pete. Thanks to Scott, of course. Thanks to Paul. And thanks to Zacharoni Macaroni. Is that your name today? Our special film assistant who is coming to help out today. And as always, be good to each other. Peace.
Peace out.